What's up, ATEEZ? Welcome back to Redemption 46 Studios. I'm Nick.
And I'm Curtis.
Yeah, I know the vibes. Y'all seen the picture. Y'all seen the thumbnail. Y'all know why y'all here. ATEEZ Cyberpunk. And this is your first time on the channel. Don't be a punk. Hit that subscribe button. Become a real redeemer today. Also, for dope content like this, jump on the Patreon. Literally going to do Cyberpunk. They have a live version from KBS. It is a brand new ATEEZ guide up on there. That guide was phenomenal. Gave us a lot of good information about the group. The guide was so good that we're just going to be getting into so much more content with ATEEZ. Dance practices, live performances, and just really some other content that we haven't dove into as far as like interviews. Kingdom will be coming. Like, I know how important that is to multiple different fan bases, so that's something that needs to be kind of handled with like 100% of our energy and care. I want that to be special, so please just be a little bit patient with us. And also, as far as the teenies go, thank y'all so much, man. Like, y'all have been just blessing us with like information on the group. You guys have been nothing but patient when it's come to like getting new content and everything. This is a group that we cover like a lot of, and now we're just finally getting into a lot of their personalities and things of that nature, and they are good human beings so far from what we see. I'm just hyped to kind of get to know these guys a little bit more and give them the respect that they are due. Talented group, ready to jump into Cyberpunk and kind of hear what's going on with this. So let's make sure this is blasted so we can give y'all that Cyberpunk energy, and let's jump into this.
Here we go.
I got the power. Hey, nah.
I like the cadence already.
It's like
Loving the build up here. Woo! The emotion.
Jung-Ho.
So much emotion right there. I love that.
We catching it now.
Vocals.
Woo!
Oh my God.
Woo!
Jesus Christ. That's a 4-level octave. He feeling it.
So my bias.
Hey. Love their back and forth. Wow.
I hear them in the back eating.
Love that doubling up to it, son. Jeez.
Teenies. So yeah, I think Jung Ho really is just my bias.
It's
it's
like I can't even explain. It's
yeah, because Mingy he does something to me as far as like the rap stuff goes.
As well. I know they have slept on vocalists as well. You know, well beyond just Jung Ho, of course. But
yeah, and anybody
you just feel such desperation and like literally like my life is on the line. With every aspect of kind of when he's belting out those incredible notes.
Yeah.
You just can't help but feel every bit of emotion that's being conveyed. And I'm sure that's certainly true for, the rest of the group, of course, but just, the utilization of those deep runs is, it hits. It hits.
Yeah, could y'all give me more information on Jung Ho? Nah, and like
from what we've seen of the guide, ironically, as far as like him being kind of more reserved with his emotions, and you're like he gets on that track and you feel it all.
He said the most calmest and chill one, but somehow you feel all that energy on tracks.
Oh my god.
And like you said, and I think anybody that's been here for a long time knows that regardless of who's like jumping on and doing everything at the end, we really respect everything that like everyone is doing in this group, just because vocally I feel like you get a bunch of different kind of sounds. Rap line, I keep forgetting bro's name, Hung Jun, I think. Because I swear he be rapping too.
No, he does.
Yeah, because I swear he raps too.
Him and Mingy are the main rappers.
The main rappers. But it's crazy because he has like a beautiful voice too. Because I think he was he the singer that was that came on as a rapper? See, now I gotta watch. I'm watching that guide again when I go home. I think that's. I think it's somebody else. I'm watching that guide again when I go home. Who's that? Young Sung?
I think so.
Either here.
I could be completely wrong.
Either here or there.
Either him or Sung Hwa, possibly.
Okay.
I'll look it up though.
Yeah, all that to say, he wrecked me. Just because I'm not gonna compare like groups, but I've been wrecked by other groups kind of like that when you have members who can start rapping and then they'll belt real quick and you'll be like, oh, who just did? And you'll see like you'll see like the color coded didn't change and you'll be like. So like he kind of wrecked me like when he did that. It's just Jung Ho. Every time I look up a ATEEZ song and it's always someone hitting that high note or it was a note that I kind of wanted to know what's up, his face is always on the color coded, and I think that's kind of where I'm at like with him. But either here nor there, I'm not about to spend a whole video talking about bro. I'll fan out later on or something by myself. Let me talk about Cyberpunk. The song is exactly kind of the feel and aesthetic I thought I was going to get. If anything, I think it might have been toned back a little bit. I thought it might have been a little bit more, not so much EDM centric, but I thought you might have got those breaks where everything gets very electric.
Yeah, and honestly, you often kind of see those things in relation to dance breaks as well, like some of the more electronic sounds for breakdowns and things of that nature. And it didn't seem like this particularly had that. And though I wouldn't have been opposed to that choice either, I really respected that they also, relatively kept it contained.
I respect it too.
Yeah, I just think that's anytime you're able to restrain, or rather focus on such a more unique aspect of it. Kind of like the whole, and this is just probably like a really out there kind of metaphor, but. You know how you can have like the whole Independence Day alien invasion, where it's like end of the world, and it's grandiose, the whole country, the whole world's involved seemingly. But then you can have, signs where it's like it's just one family in a farm town that's dealing with the same thing. It almost feels like that, where it's like the cyberpunk thing of like, what this electronic, dystopia, world could be, to where you're robbed of that humanity because, the digital side of things taking over the feeling, which again aids my connection and emotion to Jung Ho belting out those notes is because like that's the humanity that's fighting to kind of get through this. But neither here nor there. It's all that to say. It's when you then zero in on this specific side of it, it just holds a very different kind of sentiment.
No, I agree 1,000%. And with your analogy, I think that both movies and both sounds can work either way you do it. It's just honestly what story you're trying to portray, or just kind of what you want conveyed on a track. So I do get your analogy, and I agree. But yeah, also with like the cyberpunk vibe, it's a bit of a I don't want to say like disco cyberpunk, but kind of one of those songs where if this was on when Scarface was playing, like in the 70s or something, I can hear it. If this is being played in 2045, I can hear it. I see. You know what I mean? To where it's just those dualities of a song that's futuristic but also timeless. Yeah, and when you do it right, like it works, because those are like those songs that have those applications for like older movies or for like futuristic movies and just kind of things of that nature. They work almost in any like facet. And I thought that was very like dope. Very interested to kind of see what they do with the live performance. Jump on the Patreon. That's where we're gonna be doing it at. Just because I want to see what type of, if any is involved at all, what type of choreo or what type of vibe that they have with this live. Just because with ATEEZ, I feel like they do a very good job of making the song so grandiose that like wherever they start at, by the time you get to like the third act, it's opened up so wide that it's almost like a performance. It feels like a lot of, especially title tracks, are those larger than life kind of tracks where it's like songs were literally made for like millions of people to watch it. Since this is like very much kind of laid back, I guess want to see the approach that they're going to take as far as like how you do this live, if it's any choreo involved or anything of that nature. So like, you know, I'm that's where I'm very interested to kind of see the live.
Definitely, and they do you know, mention in the beginning the whole aspect of the chaotic dance. So I suppose that was another thing mentally why, and I'm sure that could also be possible in a live or kind of, especially an award show performance where they, you know, beat renditions and all those kind of unique you know, precursors to tracks or you know, build-ups to tracks before. So I'm sure there could be tons of, you know, kind of content out there in regards to, you know, those things. But that aspect of the chaotic dance and almost, you know, how they reflect sort of the carnival aspect where it's like this carousel seemingly going around this playground, this aspect of lies, this almost fun house where it's like everything is you know, grandiose, but it's ultimately a jest, you know, a trick, kind of keeping with that clown sort of theme, I suppose, which is again what makes you think of dystopia and kind of robbing or depriving rather that essence of humanity to where everything is, you know, cyber and, you know, there's no humanity. You're blinded. You're to everything. To again then, you know, where those vocals you know, hit so powerfully. And not just, you know, one note, but hitting 4 different octaves, you know, of a note of the same note or whatever is just, you know, honestly breathtaking.
Let me do you a favor too, yo. Yeah. I'm gonna read you the 7 songs on this track list.
Okay.
Propaganda, Sector 1, Cyberpunk, Gorilla.
Oh, Gorilla's on this?
Because this news is 2022 from that project. The Ring, Where Do I Go, New World.
All right.
I'm seeing a lot of.
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
I'm seeing a lot of the dystopian, or just kind of like
with Gorilla, the whole aspect of kind of like almost just stripping away. You know, I mean, we, you know, we had talked about it before. You know, film permits is like guerrilla filmmaking, where it's like, you know, you're just kind of out and about and kind of, you know, almost unplanned or unorganized in a sense, and just kind of, you know, what that adjective can serve in relation to when you're talking about a society, a new world. You know, kind of having to rebuild, pick yourself back up, stripping away those aspects. So that's incredible.
The World EP, yeah, and the EP is called like the World EP Movement.
Okay, it's interesting too, because then you hear like Wonderland that are kind of songs that feel like calls to action, so to speak, or at least, you know, kind of paralleling those sort of themes. So yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah, it feels like and we said this last time, I think, when they were doing Gorilla and everything, that this is kind of either like a new beginning kind of or like another chapter. And I do love that the guide spoke on other themes that not so much we didn't realize, but just kind of like the duality with I think you mentioned doppelgangers. They mentioned obviously dystopia, and we talked about that.
Heroes and villains.
Heroes and villains I thought was super unique because
and they were always portrayed as being dressed in black, and yet the villains seem to be dressed in the white, which is again that societal paradox.
I love when films do that.
Yeah, and like that stuff is just really incredible in and of itself too.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna let you get in, Kurt, and get your shit off. But I do find just by looking at the track list that I kind of can see the direction like this is going in and shit. It's almost like a not so much a V for Vendetta vibe, but kind of like, you know how the movement, we're gonna break like those social norms, and we're gonna kill all of the propaganda. You know, Sector 1 won't hold us back because this is a cyberpunk dystopian future.
It does seem slightly political in that regard, in the sense of like, you know, calling into question where it's like, you know, if you're kind of going along with these things, it's like, is it because you're blinded to seeing the truth, or is it because you actually believe you know, those things? And it's ironic, and the reason I'm bringing that up, of course, is because of
that's funny,
the Shakespearean aspect of it, where it's, you know, you got guys like you know, let's just say Oedipus, you know, Rex, and kind of things of that, and not to say Shakespearean in that regard, but just the whole idea of, you know, I'm so blinded by what's happening around me, that you end up literally having that be what's called your tragic flaw in storytelling, of course, where it's like your eyes are literally, you know, becoming blinded to where everything is so obscured of your vision that only when you're blind are you able to actually see the truth, so to speak. And it's an incredible oxymoron and metaphor. I mean, you see it biblically, of course, you know, the blind person being the one who's wisest.
The wisest person.
You know, certainly in, you know, martial arts things, usually, you know, the ones who are blind, for example, in Daredevil's stick, you know, which is, of course, you know, references to, I believe, Splinter, exactly. So it's like you kind of see things like that.
See it in Greek mythology. The Fates normally, or they're sharing an eye, or they're all blind, and they, you know, still are wise beyond their years and things of that nature.
Exactly.
I'm with you. I'm with you on the same page.
No, it's so I love all those things. Whether it's, you know, Homer and the Odyssey, whether it's, you know, Shakespearean, you know, tragic flaws, hero stories. It just, and mind you, and this is another thing I've noticed, that they've included so much orchestral things in their production. And the reason I'm bringing that up is I know Wonderland had like the symphony version, and I know we had seen that in you know, either compilations, and certainly like on Spotify you would hear things like that as well, which I don't believe I was privy to at the time, at least. But just nonetheless, they just seem to have such an orchestral and classical musical kind of mindset in how they attack, you know, not only their production but just their storytelling and roots in general. It feels like, you know, they're going back to that whole aspect of, you know, storytelling before it was ever modern storytelling, like just the roots of kind of storytelling. And I'm also bringing that up because of the whole, you know, again, what ATEEZ represent to them, the whole you're the stars that are kind of guiding us along as these travelers along this journey. You know, almost GPS or any of those kind of modern things. It's like, it's just our compass. You know, ATEEZ are going to represent our compass. They're going to be what guides us. They're going to be, you know, that North Star that we follow. So the whole,
I think the night wands are like compasses too.
No, and then that's so incredible. And then, so when you look at it from the production side and then on the lyrical side, it really feels like they strip away kind of all those things and kind of, you know, go about tracks that way. And I find that so incredible. You know, the writer in me, the music lover in me, you know, is just so incredible. That's so incredible. So it's something that I'm really intrigued on. And certainly if they've ever, you know, talked about it or had interviews or kind of things that, like, I just would love to eventually get to that place to kind of see and, you know, do deeper dives in respect to those things. But just a little bit briefly back on just a little bit of the lyricism here. For one, I love what Yun Ho had, you know, said in his build-up, or at least the, you know, and by the way, I do love that beginning build-up when everyone was kind of having one line and they were building, again, that kinetic energy. But also building that kinetic energy doesn't just represent one person who's kind of blinded by something. It represents a community, which, you know, if they're doing the whole call to action sort of thing where it's a community, like where it's like everyone, a societal thing, the fact that you're kind of having members trade off is servicing that theme, in the sense of it's not just me who's blinded, or it's not just me who's lost, or me who's fooled. It's this person, this person, this person, this person. And you kind of build that theme by having that communal sort of aspect. So I just thought that was an incredible use of not only integrating all the members as far as line distribution, but also thematically serving a purpose. And then when it got to, Yonho's part within that transition, where it's the oxymoron seemingly of like the neon sign, but being blinded to not see it. So it's like this thing that's right in front of you. It's glaring. It's poking like directly at you, and you're still unable to see it. And again, the Shakespeareanness of that as well. Tragic flaw and so on and so forth. And then the later tie-ins of the whole circus kind of theme and everything that seems so almost alluring is going to ultimately be something that's a jest, a fool, a trick, dystopian aspects. So I really like that as well. And then basically where what Sung Hwa had said, where it's like this whole place being full of these lies. So it was just like kind of like the way they were able to tie in those things in the writing, I just thought was incredible. And then again Mingi's verse and Hung Joon as well, and then when they had that back and forth as well, everything was just so well put together in this track. I really like this a lot.
Yeah, and like I said, if this is your first time on the channel, definitely hit the subscribe button and go watch our old content, because I don't want to sound like I'm reiterating. But people who've been around know how I feel about groups. Things like this are what puts certain groups in like tiers by themselves, or kind of like in the upper echelon tiers.
Absolutely.
When you're able to, because talent wise, we already know what's up. ATEEZ are literally like some of the best dancers in K-pop, if not the best dancers, especially when we talk about performance wise. I think like that's not a given, because it sounds like it's undermining a little bit, but we kind of already have seen it with our own eyes and been told by teenies. I'm sorry. We know vocally what's up with them. In fact, I think they're kind of unappreciated or underappreciated or not talked about enough as far as the vocals go, because they have like a ton of sick vocalists in my opinion. Rap line's amazing. I don't give a fuck if like they rapping, singing, and doing everything else and shit like that. Like they carry. I love when you can kind of just feel rappers' presence, and anytime anyone raps here, the presence is felt. My thing is this: I'm not gonna say good and dandy because I'm not trying to underplay it, but like Kurt always says like the floor of K-pop is like making it to the NBA, to where essentially most of the people that we know debut have been in the idol system and have worked so hard that essentially like you're a professional. You're probably elite at one or two things already, and just making it alone is kind of like a major feat. Congratulations to you. With that being said, once you get into K-pop, what can you do to differentiate yourself from different groups? And what ATEEZ seems like they're able to do is tell complex stories and conceptualize it in ways that are multi-layered or multifaceted, for you to have fun, I guess, with trying to discover like some of the lore, the double or triple entendres that they kind of like are giving us, and they just kind of like make it fun. The pirate theme on paper could be seen as something that's kind of real, just like either kind of gimmicky or something that seems like it could be thrown away after kind of one or two projects. But what was the words they used on the guide when they said
it was like
freedom
seekers or something like that?
Yeah, freedom seekers, and the treasure that they're looking for.
Treasure, it's journey or something, or something like that.
Yeah, like the way the guy worded it, I think
they worded it perfectly.
Yeah, they worded it so much better, because I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. When you think about it like that, it's
travelers seeking like a new, kind of discovery or journey or something.
Yeah, I'm like, when you word it like that, I'm like, oh shit, the possibilities are kind of endless where you kind of can go from there, because
even this, where it's like they allured into something that is enticing to where it's like ultimately something that's bad, and it's like, oh my god, it's like, so even that new discovery of like trying to find something and believe in it, to then, oh my god, we were blinded, all the signs were right in front of us. And that could be thematic in any regard, whether it's emotional trauma, your musical journey, fellow relationships, friendships, whatever. Like, it could ultimately, really tie into anything.
Yeah. With that being said, I'm saying all that to say like they are really putting themselves in that group where it's just like, oh, okay, we know bro is a part of doing the productions and stuff with everything that they do at KQ. We know that Hung Jung. Hun Joon and that Mingy like can write and everything like that, and like write a lot of the stuff that they have going on. So we know they have that going for them. I'm not sure which member might do the choreo or if they get outside help or anything that goes on, but regardless, the choreo is God tier, and like all the content and everything. Group is special. And I'm just wording a whole bunch. I'm wording in a whole bunch of different ways, but the group is special. And outside of just being special, like and talented, the pen is just crazy. And the pen will get you a long way in K-pop, especially when you have amazing visuals like that they tend to always do, and then your choreo is just next level. They tend to always sell, I think, within like the top 5 or top 10 every year since like they've been out and everything like that. And this is under a label that isn't primarily a part of the big 3 or a part of Hybe. ATEEZ is just getting a lot of respect from me. I'm trying to just word it like that. They're getting a lot of respect from me, and I definitely just want to know more. I'm very interested in learning so much more now.
I need more.
Anything else you want to add on top of that, bro?
Nah, we're good.
Yeah, jump in the comments, give us some more information. Like I said, jump on the Patreon. That guy we watched was so decent. Yeah. We're literally about to jump into the live performance of this to just kind of see what they did, the KBS version. Yeah, man, we love you, Teenies. Thank you for all the help. Peace.